Hello all, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. So I did my sort of live reaction already. That should be up already for the live stream. I think both the units look pretty good. But I did also want to do an in-depth sort of breakdown. Let my thoughts simmer for a little bit. And also, there is the banner unit. It looks like it's a Videl, so I mean, we'll see how good she is. But yeah, let's just go over the details here real quick, sort of give some more thoughts now that I've thought some more. And we're going to start with Broly. Um, I'm someone who likes villain units. Broly's not necessarily a villain specifically, unit. I was talking before a lot how I like traditional villain help in some of these videos before, but I still think he's going to be good for villains. That being said, do gotta right. I mean, look, his leader skill really good for villains, right? I mean, revenge sucks. It could have been a human deeds or something. That's never got an actual lead, but yeah, whatever. Right. Um, my thing with Broly. I mean, you look at this and it's just like, oh my god, he's so good, right? He's supporting 260% attack and defense start of turn, reducing damage by 60%, getting all the damage, getting all the his SA effects, massively raising attack and defense and stuff. High chance of further increasing and stuff. It looks insane. There are some minor nitpicks though. Firstly, and most importantly, either Dokkan Fest LR. I don't like how he is restricted to only uncontrollable power, essentially. Mind you, he's going to be like looking like the best unit on that team, 100,000%. And I still think, no matter what I say in here, I still think he's going to be like top five, right? But he does have issues. Being restricted as a Dokkan Festalar is kind of silly. They're supposed to be the ones that you build a team around. I guess you still are building uncontrollable power around him, but like they're supposed to be the core of several teams, not just a single team. I don't like that. That being said, you know, um, we also have how he only gets the orb changing and support when his specific revive skill is activated, which means if you're running two of these Brolys, only one of them is going to ever be able to support. So I'm not a fan of that. But I mean, you look at this kid, right? We already got up to here. He's getting 2 key, recovering 2% HP per type sphere, key sphere obtained. He's popping the domain, which is pretty good. You can do it immediately. That's another thing. The domain, it's where is that at? Another sort of nitpick here is you can only do it against a Goku family category enemy or when all allies are uncontrollable power. Mind you, domain's going to be good. That's going to buff them up all good. 15% to uncontrollable power. You're going to do up to 25% extra damage. Insanity. I just, once again, it's a bit too restricted for me personally. It, I just don't like that. But he's getting guard, right? He's type orb changing. He's getting super effective against all types. He has a revive. Like it's unconditional post turn 5. Uh, Very good. He's getting an additional 60% defense when receiving attack after the characters or an ally's survival skill is activated, which is also pretty good. Like his kit is just really good. Um, I was thinking initially top 3 level. I'm more so now thinking like maybe just top 5 in general. I'm thinking Tech Broly is going to look better than this guy overall. We will see end game, of course. You always have to wait to see end game. But this guy, you're going to want to build additional. He doesn't have any additionals, so you're not going to see the 12 key. And getting massively raised attack and defense is kind of important, um, to state the obvious. I also think maybe potentially running this guy instead of as running his team and him. Maybe you run like Tech Broly as your leader or vice versa, this new Broly, Int Broly as your leader, and then you run the other one as the friend lead. Because once again, you're only going to be able to get one of the Brolys buffed with the revive sort of effect. And I guess it's not the biggest deal for him personally, but you know, if you're running two Brolys, only you have to keep in mind only one of them is going to be able to ever have this up, which is it's silly. It should have just been, you know, whenever a revive is popped, but they have it with the, this character specifically, so he can't. It, it's unfortunate, but only one of them can support. Okay, he's on a lot of categories, but once again, you really have to focus on controllable power around him. I guess I should have, and you know what? I'm gonna pull up the category actually. I just give me a moment. I'm gonna cut away here, and we will be back in just a moment. I will pull up the category. All right. Okay, we're back. So here's uncontrollable power. This is a really good team, in the sense that you have very powerful characters on it. The new Easy A Broly, obviously really good. Strength Cell Max, the new Broly, AGL Broly. Um, you got Buhan, right? There are so many, you got a lot of these Buu units, Int Buu. There are a lot of good units on this category. But it is a very tiny category, right? We're already getting into SSRs. So it's very good, but you do have to build the team as an uncontrollable power team, which if you do have, Tech Broly, AGL Broly, and this Tech Broly, I have all these guys, so it wouldn't necessarily be the biggest issue for me, but like I don't have Cell Max. That would definitely hurt the team. I do have this guy, though, so I mean that's helpful. Although another thing about Broly's team is you can't do Int Boo, sort of revival shenanigans, because once again, Broly specifically needs his revive procced for the support. So that's something to keep in mind. Um, Once again, I still think he's top 5 level. Like I'm not don't don't take this as like a hate sort of thing. I just sort of thought some more about the unit, like more of the kit, and I think there are issues. I do think that this tech Broly is going to look better. Personally, you always have to wait to see in game. But um, I don't know. I just he's kind of restricted and has some weird issues once you really get to thinking about it. But I think he's top 5 level. We'll see. But I think he is really good. On to Gohan. I'm actually thinking a bit higher of him. I don't know if I'd call him top 3 level. I still think he's just necessarily top 4 level. But I'm not sure where. Um, at the very least, wherever I would end up thinking about putting him. Of course, I don't get to use all these units necessarily because I am free to play. I don't play in like private servers or anything. So I only get to experience the unit through other people's showcases or if I manage to pull them. So that's why I haven't had really any like top 10 lists or anything, even though I've been doing the Dokkan stuff for daily for several months now. But that's the reason why I don't think it makes the most sense for me to make a top 10 if I don't have the best actual feel of the character. But that being said, I think this guy's better than in Broly. I thought about it some more, and he's start of turn, 200% attack and defense. He has a large amount of ki. He does really need ki, but it's not an issue because he's building up so much. And this is not capped. This is going to be permanently building up, sort of like the Goku and Vegeta and from GT and the Goku and Vegeta from Majin Buu Saga 8th year anniversary LRs, how they permanently stack ki. It's going to work the same way, except this is 2 ki instead of 1 ki, so it's going to be even faster. Uh, when you have a Kamehameha Earthbred fighter category ally attack in the same turn, getting more ki, he's guarding all attacks, and he can potentially high, chance of evading, which, restricted, but he leads the category as the carnival leader. And Kamehameha is a way, 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 way bigger team than like uncontrollable power. So I don't really have an issue with that restriction. He's getting just a massive amount of tech, you know, built up. Um, and the standby is going to be sort of interesting. To me, it just looks like, to reference them again, the 8th anniversary Majin Buu saga, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta unit. His standby feels like a more modern, like upgraded version of their standby, which is already really good. So I mean, he's gonna be looking pretty insane. I think the Dragon Ball mechanic, it's just like an extra thing to do in the standby. I don't really care too much either way for it. You should pretty easily, I think, with 5 turns, be able to get all of them. So you should be able to hit the max power. Um, he should be hitting pretty hard. He should be very tanky, especially with him being on the Super Saiyan sort of trios team. You can easily, have them in slot one, this guy like slot two, and that's going to be like just a god rotation, right? Like that. He's going to be. I think he's going to be underrated, and I think Broly's looking overrated so far. But I mean, we'll see what happens in game. I think they're both really good, top five, 100%. But I mean, like this, him and the trio are raising defense. Um, we have in here. Where is it? Do I have his standby passive in here? I thought I had it. Oh, here it is. Okay. So here's a standby passive. Like I said, it's just sort of like a modern upgraded version of the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, standby 8th anniversary LR. Very powerful. Should be very good. Um, yeah, here's all the different like conditions and stuff. Once again, you only need to get 35 key, and the charge count you get. So it lasts for 5 turns. You get 1 charge per key, but you get 4 per Dragon Ball. So it should be pretty easy to hit this. It shouldn't really be an issue. You should be able to get the max power off, and it should hit pretty hard. And here's the sort of another screen for it. But yeah, I think they both look really good. Um, I'm not sure how I feel about them entirely, but I think they're top five, 100%. But I do want to see both of them in game. They are both sort of, getting, Gohan is like very multiplicative, and Broly has his massive raised attack and defense and stuff. I think you really need to go 100% additional on Broly. Getting the 12 key is very, needed for him, I think. I think he'll still be able to like live and stuff without it, but just to get extra damage and stuff. Um, as for Gohan, I really don't know. Probably maybe like crit or something. But here we go. She's getting 200% attack and defense start of turn. She's getting another 200% attack and defense when performing a super attack. She's randomly changing key spheres of a certain type of tech excluded to tech key spheres. She has a medium chance of evading. She's supporting Dragon Ball Seekers and Earthbound Fighters for 2 key, 40% attack and defense. And then it also gets additional key in slot 2 or additional attack and defense in slot 3. And then a weird sort of design choice, I think. She's reducing damage received by 20% with each attack performed up to 40% as the second attack on return, which is like a sort of permanent buildup, or a chance of evading enemy attack, including super attack plus 20% with each attack performed up to 40% as the third attack on return. I don't know why. I don't know. That seems kind of because she doesn't have any like built-in additionals as the thing. So you'd need to have her like in slot 2 twice and then in slot 3 twice, unless you go like full additional and get lucky. She looks good. We'll need to see her in game sort of, but I mean I think the sort of Piccolo Vegeta banner unit is easily going to be better. We'll see. But it just there's some weird design choices I think in these units. Other than Gohan, I think Gohan doesn't really have any weird design choices. I think he's just he just is what he is, and he's just going to consistently be that, and I think he's going to be pretty good. Uh, Top 5 level. Broly, a lot of weird design choices in my opinion. But once again, top 5 level. Now that's just a banner unit. I'm not gonna rank her, but uh, she seems good for a banner unit. They've done pretty good with banner units recently. Although I do think the Piccolo Vegeta unit's probably gonna look much better. But once again, wait to see in game. But yeah, that'll sort of do it for this breakdown. Let me know what you guys are thinking down below. I'm thinking, they've done very good with the kits for this worldwide. I'm hoping they, in part two, start dropping some more content because the content's been kind of lacking. But you know, as for the kits themselves, I think this is the best the kits have ever been on average for all the LRs, like ever for worldwide, just generally speaking. Period. Uh, and in general, just like I mean, what's it competing with? Like ninth anniversary or something? But I don't know. I think these units, like I think this might just like be the best sort of like all these units when they're coming out that they all feel like top 5 level, right? And I think that was more or less true for ninth anniversary as well. But like the Gammas were definitely a tad weaker than the rest, uh, in my opinion. Although I don't own them, it's just from showcase I've seen and stuff, and reading them. But I think this batch of characters, despite it not being my personal favorite choice for worldwide, they the characters themselves, there's been some animation issues and stuff, but I think their kits, I mean, they've all been like top 5 all the LRs, which is insane. You do gotta really appreciate that. Um, we'll have to see, once again, how they perform in game. That always is something you got to do. But I think they're all pretty good. Hopefully, part two ends up being better than part one. Part one was kind of mid. Well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking of the units down below. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Take care.